judge's verdict on the contest. We face a solemn hour for humanity at large and a momentous showdown for the Western Church. At stake is the attempted completion of the centuries-long assault on the Jewish and Christian faiths, and their replacement by progressive secularism as the defining faith of the West and ideology said to be the best suited to the conditions of advanced modernity. The gathering crisis is therefore about nothing less than a struggle for the soul of the West and the place of faith, any faith, in the life of advanced modern societies. The crisis can be expressed in terms of the interplay of four sets of challenges. First, the primacy of the Jewish and Christian faiths as the defining faiths of the West has been weakened and almost overcome by two forces: the assault of progressive secularism and the weakening caused by the shaping power of the world of advanced modernity. Second, within the West itself, the near victory of progressive secularism has opened up a further struggle between two post-Christian forces. On one side, nihilism, degeneration, and barbarism, which would spell the decline and fall of the West as it falls apart from within, and on the other, the hubris and soaring self-confidence of progressive secularism or evolutionary humanism, which would overreach in trying to lead the West in an entirely new direction and attempting to open up a stunning new world for humanity at large. Third, the overthrow of the Jewish and Christian faiths as the soul of the West has opened the door at the global level to two powerful post-Christian alternatives, each vying for dominance in the world at large: aggressive secularism and radical Islam. Fourth, the overall situation raises a double challenge for all the Christian churches across the Western world. Can Christians so witness to their Lord and live out their faith that Christian faith can prevail over the shaping power of the advanced modern world and its institutions? And can Christians, who in some Western countries are still a substantial majority, overcome the militant assaults and ways of life of progressive secularism, so as to remain in a position themselves to contribute decisively to the human future? The major focus of this book is on the challenges of the advanced modern world to the Church in the advanced modern world, but they cannot be understood in isolation. Put all these challenges together and take a general's eye view, and the stakes become very clear. For if the anti-Christian forces prevail, they represent nothing less than a return to the philosophy, the ethics, and the lifestyles of the pagan world that Christians overcame originally. In other words, today's challenge rivals that of the fateful clash of the early church with the Caesars in the first 3 centuries, and the menace of the sultans of Ottoman Islam in the 16th. The details of this grand challenge will unfold as the argument proceeds, but let me summarize a key part of it in advance. The challenge of advanced modernity is much more than a matter of ideas. To be sure, Christians in the West are certainly facing powerful opposition, created by the convergence of several streams of ideas that have created a raging flood that threatens to overwhelm the Christian faith in its deluge. This flood is the result of 4 infamous S factors that have built up over several centuries. Secularism, reinforced by secularization, has been empowered by separationism, and the outcome is a new and formidable form of statism. A 5th S might be added, the 60s, as there's no question that both in Europe and America, the 1960s had a watershed cultural significance. Each of these terms and trends are different, and we will need to define and distinguish them and understand the connections between them as we go forward. More importantly, they all need to be resisted with courage and overcome by faith. But if the forces of advanced modernity have weakened the Church, these other forces are now threatening to complete the overthrow of the Jewish and Christian faiths as the working faith of the West. The challenge described here amounts to a grand showdown for the Western Church as a whole.